So, we're going to talk about an evil plan from the Chinese Empire and Xi Jinping to force Chinese citizens to smart buy Bitcoin. Now, before we talk about this, we have to talk about the rumor that China once again banned Bitcoin. It's not true, but we're going to go after it because it keeps appearing online. It's not very surprising. Stuff on Twitter you really can't believe. It's just a lot of gossip. But this does actually all go into it because there are a lot of people believing that China actually banned crypto, but I don't think they issued anything new. So on Sunday, millions of cryptocurrency investors, enthusiasts, and watchers were alerted to some breaking news. China had officially banned crypto trading, mining, and related services from mainland. Now, they did this back in 2021, and they haven't reversed it. They have not reversed they haven't banned owning crypto, so I don't think actually anything has actually changed. The message was repeated, mainly for views, with slight phrasing tweaks, and occasionally in all caps across various social media profiles, because obviously people want views, and then discussed on short form video. Google search interest and potential impact spiked. Dang it, I didn't catch it this morning. Though the results would have mostly shown the same message with a little detail. And then the evil plan thing that we're going to go after actually took this to a new level, and we're going to discuss that. The evil plan might actually have some legs, but what really happened is very different from what's being reported. So did China ban crypto? Not lately. Despite the commotion, there has been no new ban on cryptocurrency in China this week. I think they probably tightened some of their enforcement, but that might be it. Or at least no major Chinese agency or reputable foreign news outlet has reported as such. None of the accounts pushing the announcement has linked a verifiable source because there is no verifiable source. But however, basically cryptocurrency you can only hold and you can't really do anything else in China. So they actually went over it. In 2021, China did indeed place a ban on crypto mining, and I think that's still in place. There are still a lot of crypto miners in China doing it low-key under the table. They did cite the activity as a high energy cost and of little value to China itself, but they might be turning on that because Bitcoin's worth a lot of money, and obviously China wants a lot of money. Last year, the country announced that cryptos were not recognized as legal tender. I don't think cryptos are recognized as legal tender in most countries, not even in the United States. It was in El Salvador for a while, but they dropped it since no one was using it as legal tender anyways. They were just holding it in hopes of making lots of money. It has since been illegal for Chinese citizens to issue or exchange tokens, though not to hold them. That has not changed. This was reportedly not stopped crypto being mined and traded in China. In June, reports circulated through online channels that China had outlawed public ownership of crypto, though that appeared to be yet another case of misreporting. So, obviously, this keeps on appearing because every time they do something like this, they get a lot of views. And of course, there's obviously market manipulation. They want to be able to buy at a lower price. And then, because the Chinese market's really big and people do grapple onto the news, once the rumor spreads, it's essentially unstoppable. This definitely could actually be some kind of manipulation, maybe by the big guys, maybe by other people. Now, I mean, it would have to be by the big entities they really want to move the market. People starting small rumors on Twitter, I don't think can actually move the market. I don't think today's move was because of this. Today, I think there's a lot of trade escalation and tension. And also, with both India and the EU, and also some with Russia as well. And I think right now, crypto is just trying to take a breather. However, this could actually have some effect on retail investors as when they search social media, and you don't really want your main source of news to actually be social media because you get a lot of rumors like this, and then once these rumors spread, once they go viral, you get a lot of fake news this way, which isn't real at all, and that's through X, Instagram, and YouTube as well. New videos kind of get a lift in the algorithm, and then you get fake news like this that could actually prompt you to sell. Although I don't think it has too much impact on Bitcoin. The value of many cryptocurrencies did take a minor dip over the weekend. That's not due to this rumor. That's basically just crypto cooling off. And of course, today's slight dip is, I think, more affected by the trade stuff. China's view on crypto has not actually changed at all. They want to control the basically the market. They want to control all the financial stuff in the country. So they're not going to allow anything decentralized to really take over. And local governments have seized large caches of currency. They also plan to liquidate some of this currency, as I've actually mentioned in the last few weeks. But I think that's kind of in the future. That could actually cause crypto to fall, but I don't think that's what's happening right now. I don't know if there is a yuan-backed stablecoin, but I do think the Chinese government would actually be interested in introducing such a yuan-backed stablecoin to counteract all the dollar-backed stablecoins that there are right now. So I do actually think China has kind of plans with crypto. I just don't think they have, the plan that to actually manipulate Bitcoin by releasing this news. I do think it is random people on social media trying to maybe get a good buy on something, maybe like a good buy on one of their smaller coins, saying China banned crypto, but China has not banned crypto and their stance hasn't changed. That rumor is fake. But we got to talk about China's evil plan on forcing people to buy Bitcoin smartly, and I do think this actually has some legs. This is from 99 Bitcoins. Their theory is that China bans when the price is high and then unbans it when Bitcoin price is low. Now, China has actually started circulating some news that they will actually liquidate billions of dollars worth of seized crypto. And right now, obviously, crypto is high. That news comes out. I mean, people might panic sell and crypto might drop lower, especially if they do have billions of dollars of cryptocurrency and they start liquidating it. That could definitely make the price go down. And then they loosen the regulations a bit, or they don't even have to loosen the regulations. They can just stop enforcing the exchange stuff. And then people will kind of buy it itself and make the price go up. Of course, then when people have a lot of crypto, they can actually seize the crypto again, saying that it's illegal to transact and trade, which it is in China, and the government profits. So that could be the evil plan to control crypto. They loosen the regulations after they force the market down, and then people will skirt around the rules and buy. Now, don't be mistaken if you're in China and trading crypto. Uncle Xi Jinping knows exactly where you're trading and how much money you have. You can't get away from big brother Uncle Xi Jinping. But he just pretends not to know so he can let you accumulate crypto at a really cheap price, only to bust through your door and take your crypto, when the price is high so that he can actually sell it. That's actually a viable and believable theory because obviously the Chinese government keeps a close surveillance on all its citizens. And because of that, if they have a little bit of debt to pay off or they just want to enrich themselves, it's very, very plausible that they just steal a couple of people's crypto to actually do that. Obviously, that's not going to absolve corporate debt, but every little bit helps. China's main outlet of crypto is actually in Hong Kong, obviously. And this tactic, honestly, both in China and Hong Kong, can really help China build a really, really big crypto stash as well. If they want to build a big crypto reserve, the government doesn't have to buy it itself. They just have to take it from unwitting citizens who think that they're outside surveillance by using a VPN or something, and buying off a decentralized exchange when in reality, the Chinese government is very, very good at detecting VPNs and then coming and confiscating all your crypto and maybe even throwing you in jail just for shits and giggles to make people think that they are actually serious about this. So they might be trying to force Chinese people to buy when crypto is low. Well, not really force, but incentivize Chinese people to buy when crypto is low by relaxing regulations or by not enforcing them and then tightening the noose when crypto is high and then seizing some crypto along the way, both to boost up their own coffers and to liquidate to control the price. And in this way, they can always have a steady stream of crypto income that continuously comes through without the government having to spend any money to actually buy it. Hong Kong obviously is a different case because it's a special economic region. And I think crypto is actually legal there because there are actually exchanges there. But they can't. China can use this like loosening and tightening of crypto regulations to basically stuff up their own coffers and to kind of regulate the market on when they want it to rise and fall. Obviously, they're not the sole controllers. There's other market makers out there, but the government can be a very, very powerful market maker. And they probably have kind of the statistics on the other market makers of when those other market makers are going to make like certain moves, and they probably they most likely work like alongside when they think those moves are to make their own moves more successful or more impactful. Like if they know a certain market maker is going to liquidate a bunch of longs, and I'm sure they have statisticians working on this stuff, they can actually trigger one of their own liquidations at the same time. And of course, they could be working with Binance, helping CZ or whoever. Well, I mean, CZ is not really Chinese, but helping like Chinese exchanges basically liquidate on the margin and leverage trading while like banking in themselves. So there's a lot of like theories out there. I do think the Chinese government theory of like forcing buys when it's low and then seizing and selling when it's high makes a lot of sense. The country can actually make a lot of money. And like I said, China is very powerful in controlling aspects of people's lives, and they can be a very, very powerful and big market maker. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, a lot of these DEXs, or maybe not the DEXs, but a lot of the CEXs that are offshore will actually work with the Chinese government. Because one, if you do, they will probably give you favorable treatment when it comes to China, either like have looser regulations on you or just not enforce the regulations on your exchange if you're helping them, make money. And B, it's very profitable for them to essentially work with such a big market maker like the Chinese government. So we do need to watch that. If that means like if you hear a lot of crypto seizures coming out of China, that might indicate at least a local market top. And if you see China loosening regulations or not really enforcing regulations, that might signal more of a market bottom or a market lull because they want more crypto activity in their country. Now, I don't think they've done this officially yet, but they can definitely do it unofficially because there are citizens using VPNs to buy crypto. I mean, yes, you can't transact crypto or trade crypto in the mainland, but it doesn't mean everyone follows that rule, especially the government officials themselves. If you see a crypto purge of government officials, once again, that might actually signal that we are reaching the top. And they're going to use that purge to seize crypto and sell it on the open market, maybe to pay off debt, but also maybe just to enhance their own treasuries. I'm sure Xi Jinping probably has a giant stash of Bitcoin somewhere, as well as the other political bureau officials. For those of you that don't know China, it's not controlled solely by Xi Jinping, although he is the main power right now, because I think he's basically disappeared all his opponents. But there is a council of I think 5 or 7 right now, political bureau representatives, and they actually have a lot of power as well. They also have heads of various agencies, and obviously it really depends on the agency as to how much power those heads actually have. If you're in literature and stuff, you have a high position, but you don't have as much power as the head of an agency. Whereas if you're head of a military agency, you have a lot more actual power in the country. So it really depends. You're at the same rank, but at the same rank does not actually mean at the same power, a random lord in England without a military presence that's just kind of in the court kissing up to the king. He might have some influence with the king and stuff, but he doesn't have any military authority as a general or something like that. Although technically they might be of the same social status or rank. So it kind of works that way in China. Xi Jinping still has to work through the political weeds. A lot of the younger generation I know in China, a lot of the younger officials in China are actually in favor of crypto, but the older generation obviously is more skeptical. And the older generation obviously is more for complete control of the economy. So they're far, far less likely to actually allow crypto, which is too bad, because they're the ones still with the most power. Maybe once they start dying out in a decade or two, then like the replacements will actually open up the Chinese gateway to crypto. At least that's what I'm kind of like hoping right now. So, but that's like in another 10 years or so. So we got a while to wait. But no, there is not a ban on crypto in China. But this evil plan of the Chinese government forcing low buys and high sells is very viable, and I can definitely see them implementing it if they haven't already implemented it now. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.